Good day. So today we will be performing the recrystallization experiment involving naphthalene. Now, for this experiment, you would need a filtration set, these makeshift test tubes to which we will be testing the solubility of our naphthalene so that we would obtain the best solvent, our heating apparatus, our filter paper which I have conveniently placed here in the Doppler funnel, our charcoal, our weight scale, and our crushed naphthalene. First, we would want to exactly weigh our naphthalene. So I will be using this paper. And then we will tear. And then I will scoop up 1 gram of naphthalene. Okay, now this time I will be performing a solubility test. So the excess of the crushed naphthalene I will put into each of these uh, makeshift containers, and then from here I will add drops of solvents. Okay. So in this cup I will be putting distilled water. Here I will be putting ethanol. Here I will be putting ethanol. Lastly, here I will be putting ethyl acetate. For water, it does not, it still hasn't dissolved. For isopropyl alcohol, you see that it's rather dissolved here. Same with ethanol. For ethyl acetate, you can see some powder right here. Okay. So now we will subject them to heating to see if something happens when we heat them. To see if heating has any effect on the solubility of naphthalene. As you can see, heating the water does not change its solubility, so we will test the other three in the video. Okay, so this is for the IPA, and I think you see that heating has diminished the amount of naphthalene here. Now we will go with ethanol. So after heating, you can see here. Now we will go with the ethyl acetate. Now this is for ethyl acetate. Our solubility test, we can conclude that it is ethanol which dissolves naphthalene the best because it has the least amount of naphthalene solids present after some time. Okay, so we will be using ethanol as our best solvent in the recrystallization of naphthalene. So we have here our naphthalene. This is our naphthalene, and we will put it here in our early layer flask. This is our 1 gram of naphthalene. And then we will be adding ethanol. the 5 ml line. So this is our 5 ml ethanol. So we now have 25 mils of ethanol and our 1 gram of naphthalene. We will add a pinch of activated charcoal, and we will heat here. No? There's some charcoal. We'll just add a pinch of this. That's our charcoal. I'm gonna slosh it, and then we're going to heat it. Okay. I'm gonna heat it once. Now, as our mixture here, which contains the ethanol, the naphthalene, and the charcoal, is heating, I will just prepare a small amount of ethanol here, and I will heat it because we cannot make use of vacuum filtration, which, since we do not have the appropriate apparatus, so we will use gravity filtration. So we will aid it with hot solvent. Okay, now that it seems that the naphthalene has been fully dissolved in this system, we can now proceed to filter. So I'll just wait a couple more seconds. Okay. So now that our naphthalene has been fully dissolved, we will now filter this using our filtration set. So we improvised to gravity filtration since a vacuum filtration set is not readily available at this moment. So I will immediately pour here and wait until it drops. Now, since we are using gravity filtration, we are unsure that the solution with the dissolved naphthalene might cool and then naphthalene might recrystallize, so we're going to heat some of the solvent. So since we have introduced our solution to a gravity filter set, we're going to introduce some of our solvent, but only some, because the naphthalene might not recrystallize. Okay, now that all of the solvent has dropped here into the filtrate, we assume that the filtrate contains our dissolved naphthalene, so we will subject it into an ice bath in the hopes that we will recrystallize our naphthalene. Let's take this off. Now we will wait for a while until our naphthalene crystallizes. Okay, so it's still not finished, but you see here some cloud formation, meaning that our naphthalene is slowly recrystallizing. We will still let it sit here and wait until some further time. We'll wait some further time until it recrystallizes fully. Okay, now that you can see after some time and subjecting the mixture in some ice cold water in an ice bath, you can see that it has become cloudy, and you see here our naphthalene. Now what we will do is we will filter this so that the collected naphthalene will be the remaining will remain, and then we will weigh the remaining naphthalene to see how much we obtained. Okay. Okay, now that most of the filtrate has dropped, we will obtain this. We will be using these tweezers to obtain this. Now this, of course, contains the recrystallized naphthalene. So here is our naphthalene still. We're still air drying it, and then we will weigh it. Now I have noted that the weight of this filter paper is at 1.1 grams. So I will just subtract the weight of the filter paper to the weight of this whole system here to obtain. So here we now have our recrystallized naphthalene. we will weigh this again to see how much of our original naphthalene is pure naphthalene. Okay? Weighing. Now, the final weight of our dried naphthalene is at 1.4 grams. Now, remember that the original weight of our filter paper is 1.1 grams, so that leaves us with a pure crystallized naphthalene amount of 0.3 grams. So from the initial 1 gram of pure naphthalene, of original naphthalene rather, we were able to recrystallize 0.3 grams of pure naphthalene. So that is it for this experiment. Thank you and have a nice day.